chosen one. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble onto this message by chance, and this moment is not random. Something unseen has been guiding you quietly, patiently, pulling you to this exact point of recognition. This is a divine appointment, and your spirit already knows it. Chosen one, there is something about you that has never fit neatly into the world around you. Since childhood, there have been signs, sensitivities. You couldn't explain emotions that ran deeper than others, moments when noise drained you, but silence restored you. You were never weak, you were never broken. Those patterns were not symptoms, they were markers. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a revelation about who you truly are. A hidden identity. A spiritual origin that was set apart long before you had words for it. Scripture says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. That calling has been echoing through your life. What you've been feeling is not depression, it is discernment awakening. It is your spirit remembering its design. You were fearfully and wonderfully made, Psalm 139 verse 14. And every sensitivity, every withdrawal, every unexplainable pull inward was preparing you for this moment. So take a breath, chosen one. Let your heart open. What you're about to hear is not information, it is activation. A shift is beginning now in your spirit, your body, and even your circumstances. This is the moment you remember who you are. Chosen one, listen closely, because what you have been calling heaviness is not a breakdown but a breakthrough, a spiritual migration happening quietly inside you. You are not withdrawing from the world because you lack strength. You are withdrawing because your spirit has begun to recognize what your mind has not yet fully understood. The noise, the chaos, the shallow connections, the forced conversations, these things do not simply annoy you, they drain you in ways that others cannot comprehend. And for years you may have wondered why. You may have asked yourself why you felt exhausted in places where others seemed alive, why you longed for home even when the world told you that staying in meant you were missing out. Why silence felt like healing while noise felt like an attack. But chosen one, this is not depression. This is discernment. This is heaven awakening the antenna within you. This is your inner being remembering who you truly are. I've walked this road myself. There were seasons when I pushed myself into the world's rhythm, talking when I wanted silence, attending events when my spirit begged me to rest, showing up physically while my heart felt miles away. Every time I returned home, after forcing myself into spaces that were not meant for me, I felt strangely hollow, like my spirit had leaked through the cracks while I was gone. I would sit in the quiet afterward and feel myself slowly coming back together, realizing that I'd left pieces of myself in rooms that were too loud and too shallow for someone wired like me. It took me years to understand that my exhaustion was not emotional weakness. It was spiritual intelligence. And chosen one, whether you realize it or not yet, the same intelligence is waking up inside you. You see, those who carry a deeper spiritual sensitivity are not built for surface-level environments. Your spirit is tuned to truth, to authenticity, to the gentle whisper within, and that whisper gets drowned out in crowded rooms and chaotic atmospheres. When others enter a space and adjust easily, you enter and feel everything. The tension behind someone's smile, the unspoken heaviness lingering in the air, the spiritual residue left from conversations that happened before you arrived. You pick up on what isn't said, what isn't shown, what isn't acknowledged. It's not overthinking, it's the gift of perception, and that gift has been with you since childhood. Chosen one, Withdrawing is not your spirit giving up. It is your spirit protecting what heaven placed inside you. The world praises noise, motion, and being constantly available, but the ones who are truly called walk a different road. They don't chase attention. They don't seek validation. They don't need to be everywhere. They only need to be where their spirit feels aligned. That is why your soul pulls you inward. That is why when you slow down enough to listen, something sacred rises inside you. This is not you hiding. This is you preserving the oil. There comes a moment when the chosen finally understand that their energy is sacred currency. Every outing, every conversation, every interaction either nourishes you or drains you. And the more spiritually awake you become, the more your spirit refuses to spend itself cheaply. You begin to feel when a space isn't right. You begin to sense when a person is wearing a mask. You begin to detect when an atmosphere is heavy, even if everyone is smiling. These are not coincidences. These are activations. Your spirit is learning to speak and your body is learning to listen. This is why home feels different to you. Home is not just a location, it is the sanctuary where your soul breathes freely. It is the place where the noise stops long enough for your true self to rise. It is where the masks fall off the weightlifts and the quiet becomes a kind of medicine. When you return home and feel your spirit settle, that is not introversion. That is alignment. Your home holds your prayers, your reflections, your energy, and the echoes of every moment you've met God in the silence. No wonder your spirit runs there. No wonder peace meets you at the door. And chosen one, don't let anyone convince you that this makes you strange or antisocial. What feels like isolation to others is consecration for you. Your retreat is not retreating from life, it is retreating to life. It is returning to the center where your spirit hears clearly. When the world's demands start feeling like attacks, it is your own inner wisdom calling you home. You were not designed to thrive in chaos. You were not crafted to survive on surface-level interactions. You carry depth, purity, intuition, and a rare sensitivity that many do not have the capacity to understand. Your spirit is telling you something now. Protect what is sacred. Honor the pull inward. Listen when your inner being says, "Not here, not now, not them." This is not avoidance. This is heaven teaching you how to stay aligned. You are not weak for needing silence. You are not broken for preferring solitude. You are not strange for feeling drained around certain people. You are simply awake. And the more you awaken, the more your spirit refuses to be poured into anything that cannot hold you. Chosen one. When your spirit begins to awaken, the world around you does not simply feel different. It becomes louder, heavier, and more intrusive to the deepest parts of who you are. And while others move through life on autopilot, you are being pulled into a higher sensitivity, a higher clarity, and a higher calling. What you once tolerated without thought now feels unbearable. What you once engaged with effortlessly now leaves you spiritually depleted. And what others dismiss as normal life feels misaligned with the truth rising inside you. This shift is not a decline, it is an ascension. Heaven is sharpening your perception, amplifying your awareness, and allowing you to feel what others cannot feel, see what others cannot see, and sense what others refuse to acknowledge. You are not becoming fragile, you are becoming more spiritually precise. I remember a time when I didn't understand this process myself. I thought something was wrong with me because gatherings felt overwhelming, conversations felt heavy, and my energy seemed to evaporate around certain environments. But every time I stepped away, every time I returned home, every time I allowed silence to wrap around me like a blanket, I felt myself returning slowly, softly, powerfully. What I thought was weakness was actually the restoration I had been starving for. And you, chosen one, are experiencing the same thing. Your retreat is not a flaw, it is your spirit stepping into a new dimension of awareness. You've probably noticed that you can no longer fake energy around certain people. You can no longer pretend you're fine in environments that disrupt your peace. You can no longer stay comfortable in places where your spirit cannot breathe. This is because your sensitivity is not emotional, it is spiritual. Heaven designed you with an inner alarm system, and now it's going off more frequently because your spirit is maturing. You are becoming more selective, not because you are judgmental, but because your soul recognizes what your mind has not fully articulated. Not all energy deserves access to you, and this selectiveness is not accidental. It's purposeful, it's protective, it's prophetic. The more spiritually aligned you become, the more heaven requires you to guard your atmosphere. You may have noticed how quickly you sense dishonesty in a person's tone, or how swiftly you feel discomfort when someone with hidden intentions walks into the room. You might pick up on jealousy others try to hide, or feel heaviness around someone who smiles but carries unspoken resentment. This ability does not come from paranoia. These reactions come from discernment. Your spirit is picking up frequencies others cannot register. You're not imagining it. You're detecting it. And that is part of your calling. Chosen one. This is why noise, chaos, and overcrowded spaces drain you so deeply. Your spirit isn't designed to filter through shallow energy. When someone speaks, you don't just hear their words, you feel their undertones. When you enter a room, you don't just see faces, you sense the atmosphere. When you interact with people, you're not processing their actions alone, you're absorbing their unspoken spiritual state. And that level of perception requires recovery. It requires stillness, it requires solitude. This is why home becomes your sanctuary. This is why silence becomes your medicine. This is why retreat becomes your strength. For someone like you, someone whose spiritual eyes are opening, whose heart feels deeply, whose intuition has been sharpened, your home becomes more than a physical space. It becomes a sacred chamber where your spirit regains its strength. It's the place where the world reside you falls off of you, where your inner voice becomes clear again, where you hear God without interference. When you step through the door and feel that immediate release, that exhale, you didn't even know you were holding that sense of, I can finally be myself again. That is not psychological comfort. That is spiritual realignment. Inside your home, you might find yourself drawn to small rituals without even realizing why. Lighting a candle, brewing a warm drink, sitting near a window, journaling your thoughts, cleaning your space with intention. These aren't random habits, they're sacred practices. They help your spirit come back into alignment. They reconnect you with the divine frequency you were created to operate in. And chosen one. The reason these acts feel peaceful is because they resonate with your spiritual blueprint. Even your sensitivity to clutter or disorder is a sign of your awakening. When your environment is chaotic, your inner world feels unsettled. When your space is calm, your spirit feels anchored. It's all connected. The chosen cannot flourish in confusion. Their spirit requires clarity, softness, order, and intention. You aren't dramatic for feeling this, you are spiritually tuned. And as this sensitivity deepens, you will begin to notice something else. You can no longer force yourself into environments that don't honor your spirit. Even if you try, your body reacts. Your energy dips. Your intuition protests. Your mind grows foggy. Your chest tightens. These physical responses are spiritual messages. They are heaven's way of saying, this is not for you anymore. Chosen one. Your retreat is not an ending, it is an initiation. The world's rush is losing its grip on you because heaven is pulling you into a different rhythm, a sacred rhythm where your spirit leads and your life follows. Silence is becoming your teacher. Solitude is becoming your sanctuary, and discernment is becoming your compass. Chosen one. As your spirit awakens, something even deeper begins to unfold. Your relationship with time, rhythm, and movement starts to change. Where others rush, you pause. Where others chase you, observe. Where others fill their days with noise, you seek meaning. And this shift can confuse the people around you, but you feel it in your bones. The tempo of the world is no longer the tempo of your soul. You are being called into a different pace, a sacred pace, one that honors your inner wisdom rather than suffocating it. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the world's urgency starts to feel unnatural, almost jarring. You may find yourself asking, why does everything feel so fast? Why does everyone seem to be running somewhere? Why do I feel the need to slow down when everyone is speeding up? That feeling is not rebellion, it is revelation. It is your spirit saying, I move differently now. I've experienced this shift myself in ways I didn't understand at first. I remember sitting in a room full of people who were talking fast, planning fast, living fast, and my spirit felt like it was drowning. My mind tried to keep up, but something inside me whispered, this is too much. When I stepped away from that environment and allowed myself to breathe, I realized the truth. My soul was refusing a rhythm that wasn't mine, and chosen one. Your soul is doing the same thing. You are no longer aligned with the speed of survival. You are aligning with the pace of purpose. This is why stillness feels divine to you. This is why silence feels like a homecoming. When your spirit slows down, truth has room to rise. Insight becomes sharper. Intuition becomes louder. You begin to notice small shifts in your energy, subtle changes in your feelings, gentle nudges in your spirit. These are heavenly signals guiding you back to yourself. And while the world may call stillness a lack of ambition, heaven calls it preparation. When you slow down, you are not wasting time. You are reclaiming the time your soul lost on things that never truly belonged to your destiny. Chosen one. The more spiritually awake you become, the more you realize that much of what society calls success is simply noise dressed as purpose. People run because they fear stillness. They chase because they fear introspection. They fill their days because they fear what silence might reveal. But your soul has outgrown fear. You desire authenticity, alignment, and truth. You want to move with intention. You want to walk where you are meant to walk, speak where you are meant to speak, and be where your spirit feels alive. And that desire is not weakness, it is divine maturity. There are moments now when you can feel your spirit resisting certain places, people, or tasks. You may feel a sudden heaviness before entering a room, a quiet discomfort before a conversation, or an unexplained fatigue before making a decision. These are not random feelings, these are warnings. Your discernment has become so refined that your spirit alerts you before your mind can rationalize it. That tightness in your chest, that uneasiness in your gut, that sudden hesitation, they are boundaries heaven placed within you. They are signs of spiritual intelligence guiding you away from what is misaligned and toward what is ordained. And because of this heightened awareness, solitude begins to feel like a sacred companion rather than loneliness. You no longer run from your own presence. You cherish it. You no longer fear being alone. You seek it. Your home, your room, your quiet space becomes a sanctuary where you can breathe again, think again, hear again. This is where clarity finds you. This is where truth meets you. This is where God whispers to you. And the more you honor this sacred space, the more your spirit strengthens. I've had countless moments where clarity only came after I withdrew, after I stepped away from environments that were drowning my intuition, and each time I returned to silence, I felt myself being rebuilt. Chosen one. This is what is happening to you. Your spirit is rebuilding itself in private, so it can stand stronger in public. What the world thinks is isolation is actually consecration. What looks like distance is actually alignment. What feels like slowing down is actually preparation for acceleration. Heaven's kind, not the world's. You may notice now that your dreams are becoming more vivid, your insights more accurate, your emotions more pronounced. You may find yourself remembering things you once ignored, recognizing patterns you once missed, and sensing connections you once overlooked. This is not sensitivity spiraling out of control. This is vision sharpening. This is perception awakening. This is the spiritual gift hidden inside you stepping into the light. Chosen. 1. Everything you are feeling has purpose. Everything you are sensing has meaning. Everything you are withdrawing from has spiritual implications. You are not falling behind. You are being positioned. You are not losing interest. You are gaining clarity. You are not becoming weaker. You are becoming more aligned with the truth of who you are called to be. The world's rhythm no longer fits you because heaven is tuning you to a higher one. This metamorphosis is sacred. This transition is holy. And every part of you that feels different is actually becoming more authentic, more powerful, and more spiritually precise. Chosen one. As this awakening deepens within you, something profound begins to shift in the way you experience the world. You no longer interact with life from the surface. You feel everything in layers, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, and this depth changes the way you move, the way you choose, the way you connect. What once seemed simple now carries weight. What once felt tolerable now feels heavy. What once looked normal now reveals its spiritual atmosphere. And though this can feel overwhelming at times, it is actually one of the clearest signs that heaven has expanded your spiritual senses. You are not losing stability, you are gaining sight. Over time, you may have noticed that your body reacts faster than your thoughts. You enter a room and feel tension before anyone speaks. You talk to someone and sense their motives before they reveal themselves. You step into an environment and your spirit instantly knows whether it is safe or draining. Others walk blindly, but you walk with an inner compass guiding you in ways you cannot fully explain. This is because sensitivity is not your burden, it is your armor. It is how the divine protects you in a world filled with unspoken intentions. I've lived through this sharpening myself. There were days when I couldn't understand why I felt exhausted after interacting with certain people, or why my energy dropped suddenly after a casual encounter. Only later did I recognize these were spiritual exchanges happening beneath the surface. Sometimes a smile can be sincere, but the energy behind it is polluted. Sometimes a room looks peaceful, but its atmosphere carries remnants of arguments, jealousy, or fear. And chosen one, your spirit senses all of it. Even when your mind tries to dismiss it, your intuition refuses to lie to you. That inner tension is a message. That discomfort is direction. That uneasiness is revelation. This is why being around too many people feels overwhelming. It's not that you dislike humanity, it's that you absorb more than the average soul. You carry a spiritual sensitivity that picks up emotional frequencies, hidden intentions, and unspoken pain. And when those vibrations collide inside of you, your energy field becomes overloaded. Others can stay in chaotic environments and feel nothing. But your spirit is wired differently. Your inner world is not designed to survive on cluttered energy. It thrives on purity, clarity, peace, and intention. And the more awakened you become, the more intolerant your spirit becomes toward anything that disrupts that peace. Chosen one, your home has become your sanctuary, not by coincidence, but by calling. Your spirit feels safe there because it is one of the few environments that reflects your essence. Every object you place there, every corner you clean, every candle you light, these things carry your energy. They become extensions of your spirit. And when you walk inside, you feel your soul breathe again. It's as though the walls know you. The air remembers you. The silence welcomes you. Home is the one place where you don't have to adjust, pretend, shrink, or explain yourself. It's where your spirit recalibrates after the world has pulled at you from too many directions. You may have noticed how certain routines, lighting incense, cleaning your space, organizing your belongings, brewing tea, sitting near a window, bring you a sense of unexplainable relief. These small rituals aren't random habits. They are spiritual practices, acts that anchor your soul, movements that quiet your mind, rhythms that realign your energy. When you engage in them, you are reconnecting with yourself and with heaven. You are creating harmony in your surroundings because harmony strengthens your spirit. Your sensitivity to energy is also why you long for simplicity. You crave environments that are soft, gentle, and honest. You prefer fewer people, fewer conversations, fewer attachments, but deeper meaning, deeper peace, deeper truth. This is not isolation, this is refinement. Heaven is removing noise from your life because your calling requires clarity. The more you awaken, the more you realize that not every connection is meant for your journey. Some relationships were designed for who you were, not who you're becoming. When your spirit grows, your circle naturally shrinks, not out of pride, but out of protection. Chosen one, you are evolving into someone who cannot settle for surface-level living. You feel God in quiet places, in still moments, in gentle whispers. You hear direction in silence. You find clarity in solitude. You experience divine encounters when the world stops demanding pieces of you. This is why you prefer being alone, not because you are antisocial, but because that is where your spirit hears the most. Stillness becomes your teacher. Silence becomes your mentor. And God becomes your companion. And the truth is, the more awake you become, the less the world makes sense. Rushed lifestyles feel hollow. Loud conversations feel meaningless. Forced interactions feel draining. Your spirit has grown too wise to be entertained by things that have no purpose. You can feel when something aligns with your path and when it doesn't. This clarity isn't something you earned, it's something heaven placed inside you long before you understood it. So when people misunderstand, you retreat, let them. When they call you distant, let them. When they say you've changed, let them. They are right, you have changed. You are no longer living from your wounds, you are living from your spirit. You are no longer guided by pressure. You are guided by purpose. You are no longer moved by noise. You are moved by truth. Chosen one. What the world sees as withdrawal is actually your rebirth. Every moment you choose silence, every time you honor your intuition, every time you step back from chaos, your spirit grows stronger. You are not falling away from life. You are rising into alignment. You are listening inward. You are awakening deeper. And you are becoming everything heaven intended you to be. Chosen one. As this transformation unfolds, one of the greatest revelations you will experience is the truth about your sensitivity. The world has tried to convince you that feeling deeply is a flaw, that noticing too much is overthinking, that sensing what others ignore is being dramatic. But the more your spirit awakens, the more you begin to realize that your sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a spiritual instrument. It is sight. It is discernment. It is heaven's way of guiding you through a world that often operates in shadows. You are not meant to move blindly. You are meant to perceive. And everything you feel, every discomfort, every nudge, every sudden heaviness is part of the spiritual language heaven placed inside you. For most of your life, you may have tried to mute this part of yourself. You tried to be normal, to fit into environments that your spirit knew were wrong for you, to force connections that drained you, to tolerate energy that suffocated you. You told yourself you were too sensitive, too emotional, too reactive. But now that awakening is happening, the truth is becoming impossible to ignore. You weren't too sensitive, you were too spiritually aware for the life you were trying to live. I've had moments where I walked into a room and instantly felt my spirit tighten. Even before anyone spoke, I knew something was off. There were times I sat with people who smiled at me, yet their energy felt sharp, cold, or envious. There were moments when a conversation seemed harmless on the surface, yet when I walked away, I felt drained and confused. I used to blame myself. But the more I grew, the clearer it became. My spirit was detecting something my eyes weren't seeing yet. And, chosen one, you have experienced this too. That sensation in your chest, that sudden emotional shift, that urge to leave a space, you must stop dismissing it. That is discernment. That is divine protection. That is the unseen world pressing against your awareness. And because you feel things so deeply, the world overwhelms you easily. Not because you are fragile, but because you are spiritually porous. You absorb the atmosphere around you. You pick up on the pain behind someone's casual joke, the bitterness behind someone's compliment, the tension in a room where no one mentions the truth. You sense spiritual heaviness the way others sense temperature. You feel sadness in someone's tone before they admit they're struggling. You notice disappointment in someone's silence before they speak. You read people's spirits long before you read their words. This is not imagination. This is spiritual intelligence. This intelligence is the reason why crowds drain you, why chaos makes your energy unravel, why shallow conversations exhaust you. Your spirit was never designed for noise. It was crafted for clarity. And clarity requires quiet, something the world rarely offers. This is why your home feels sacred to you. Your space holds your energy, your prayers, your breath. It carries the residue of your healing and your hope. When you walk inside, something inside of you relaxes. Your spirit knows, I am safe here. And safety has become rare for someone with your level of perception. Chosen one. There's something else happening within you. Your intuition is sharpening. You no longer need long explanations to understand someone's intentions. You feel them. You no longer need time to know whether a place aligns with you. You sense it instantly. You no longer need proof that someone is not meant for your journey. Your spirit speaks before your mind can analyze. And this clarity can feel intimidating because it forces you to accept truths that are inconvenient. But this is part of your awakening. You are being trained to trust the unseen more than the physical. With this heightened awareness, you naturally become more selective. Not because you think you're better than others, but because your spirit refuses to be poured into vessels that cannot hold you. Certain friendships feel empty now. Certain conversations feel pointless. Certain relationships feel misaligned. And as you grow, heaven slowly removes the people who cannot walk with you into your next season. Some will drift away. Some will be exposed. Some will detach suddenly. Your sensitivity picks up the shift before it happens. Pay attention. This separation is not rejection, it is refinement. Your spirit is being protected from energies that would slow you down or damage your calling. Because as your sensitivity grows, your purpose begins to reveal itself. You start to notice that you bring peace where others bring tension. You bring clarity where others bring confusion. You bring gentleness into spaces hardened by fear. And people feel this. They may not understand it, but they feel it. Some are drawn to you for it. Others are threatened by it. But your spirit is undeniable. Your very presence shifts the atmosphere because your sensitivity carries light. And this light grows strongest when you honor your need for solitude. Every time you withdraw, you are not escaping, you are recharging. Every moment of silence is a meeting between your spirit and the divine. Every pause is a realignment. The world celebrates constant noise, but heaven moves in whispers. That is why the chosen prefer stillness. That is why the anointed resist chaos. That is why your soul gravitates toward the slow, the quiet, the intentional. This is where the deepest revelation comes. This is where your identity becomes clear. And this is where your next season begins, in the silence that others run from, but you are called to embrace. Chosen one. As this awakening stretches deeper into your life, something extraordinary begins to happen inside you. Your relationship with faith, with God, and with your inner voice shifts from something external into something profoundly intimate. You start to notice that the moments when you feel closest to God are not in crowds, not in noise, not in spiritual performance, but in the quiet corners of your home where your soul finally exhales. Faith for the chosen one is rarely loud. It does not shout or demand to be seen. It unfolds gently like a sacred whisper rising from a deeper part of your being. It moves in the stillness of early mornings, the quiet of late nights, the moment your heart softens enough to feel what heaven has been saying all along. And this kind of faith, quiet, steady, internal, is the kind that transforms you from the inside out. There were times in my own journey where I thought faith meant action, motion, participation. I believed I had to show up everywhere, speak loudly, be seen, doing the right things. But the more I grew spiritually, the more I realized that the most powerful moments with God happened where no one could see me. It was in silent prayers, whispered through tears, in long breaths taken after overwhelming days, in the moments where my heart felt fragile and yet something warm and unexplainable wrapped around me. That presence, gentle, steady grounding became my anchor. And chosen one, you have felt that same presence. You have felt guidance that arrived without words. You have felt comfort that came without explanation. You have felt direction that didn't come from logic, but from spirit. This is the faith of the chosen, a faith that rises in silence. And because your faith is quiet, people often misunderstand you. They expect belief to look a certain way, to be loud, expressive, dramatic. But you don't need that. Your connection with heaven is deeply internal. Your prayers are conversations, not performances. Your worship is awareness, not ritual. your trust is felt, not announced. When you sit alone in your room, staring at the ceiling or sitting by a window, that is when the spiritual realm speaks the clearest. And that is when you feel the strongest. Because your spirit has learned that God does not always come in thunder sometimes. He comes in the whisper your heart has been trying to interpret for years. Chosen one, that whisper has saved you more times than you know. Think about the moments you didn't go somewhere and later realized something bad happened there. Think about the people you suddenly felt distance from, only to discover later their intentions were not pure. Think about the opportunities you walked away from without fully understanding why, only to be shown later that they were traps. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual guidance. You have been led, protected, and redirected in ways you may not have recognized until now. The intuition you carry is not imagination, it is spiritual intelligence, heaven embedded into your design. And this growing faith has another effect on you. You no longer need constant reassurance. Even when life feels unclear, even when your path seems foggy, even when others tell you you're falling behind, something in your chest says, I am exactly where I need to be. That quiet knowing is strength. It is the inner confirmation that the world cannot give you. And while others chase answers, you rest in timing. You begin to understand that not everything needs to be forced, controlled, or explained. Some things unfold when your spirit is ready, not when your mind is impatient. This is why stillness has become so important for you. This is why silence feels sacred. In silence, you hear what people can't teach you. In silence, you see what eyes cannot show you. In silence, your destiny becomes clearer. There may be days when your emotions feel heavy, when your heart feels tired, when you question whether you're really growing or just drifting. But even in those moments, you sense a hand guiding you, a presence surrounding you, a peace waiting for you beneath the noise. That peace is not from the world, it is from above, and it blooms strongest in the quiet spaces others overlook. You are learning that emotional storms do not break you, they refine you. They sharpen your faith. They remind you that even in your weakness, you are never abandoned. And because your faith is internal, your strength is invisible to many. People see you quiet and think you are uncertain. They see you withdraw and think you are afraid. They see you resting and think you lack direction. But if they could feel your spirit, they would know the truth. You are aligning, listening, preparing. You are receiving instructions that others are too distracted to hear. You carry a depth they cannot comprehend. You walk with a guidance they cannot see. Chosen one. This inner world, this quiet, powerful, sacred inner space is becoming your true foundation. It is where your identity strengthens. It is where your purpose awakens. It is where your spirit grows so rooted that no storm can shake it. Because the truth is, your faith was never meant to be loud. It was meant to be real. And real faith, the kind heaven gives to its chosen, is born in silence, carried in sensitivity, and revealed in transformation no one else sees coming. Chosen one. As this inner transformation deepens, you begin to understand something that many people around you will never comprehend. Your isolation has never been abandonment. It has always been protection. The more spiritually awake you become, the more clearly you can see that not every space is meant for you, not every voice deserves access to you, and not every presence is safe for your spirit. What others call pulling away, heaven calls setting apart. You may not have realized it before, but every season where you felt alone, quiet, or withdrawn, was a season where your spirit was being shielded from influences that would have drained you, distracted you, or derailed your calling. There have been moments when you felt a sudden urge to stay home without knowing why. Moments when you decided not to go somewhere and later discovered conflict unfolded there. Moments when a relationship faded without explanation, only for you to realize it would have wounded you had it continued. Chosen one, that was not coincidence. That was heaven stepping between you and what you couldn't see. Spiritual protection often disguises itself as solitude. Divine intervention often feels like separation. And while the world sees distance, heaven sees deliverance. I've lived this truth in ways I didn't understand until much later. There were people I loved deeply who suddenly drifted away. Opportunities I desperately wanted that mysteriously closed. Social circles I tried to hold on to, only to find myself feeling more and more disconnected. At the time, it hurt. It felt like loss. But with hindsight came revelation. Heaven removed me from anything misaligned with my spirit. And the same thing has been happening to you. Anything that could not honor your growth, anything that could not carry your sensitivity, anything that could not handle your calling, heaven quietly separated you from it. Not to punish you, but to preserve you. This is why you often feel like you don't fit in most places. Your spirit is not shaped for casual environments. You are not wired for shallow connections. You are not built for circles where masks are required. Your energy demands authenticity. Your intuition requires honesty. Your calling requires purity. And your soul cannot thrive where truth is absent. People who operate on surface levels cannot understand someone who sees beyond what is shown. People who play emotional games cannot understand someone who reads intention without a word being spoken. People who hide jealousy behind kindness cannot understand someone who feels energy before they feel smiles. You are not confusing, you are spiritually advanced. You are not distant, you are discerning. You are not hard to connect with. You are selective with who has access to your peace. And that selectiveness has nothing to do with arrogance. It is survival. Your spirit reacts to energy long before your mind has time to interpret it. This is why when someone with hidden motives approaches you, you can feel your body tense. When someone speaks with double intentions, you feel something inside you pull back. When someone smiles but carries resentment, your intuition sounds an alarm. These sensations are not random, they are spiritual signals. Heaven gave you a sensitivity that acts like a shield, a filter, a radar. It protects you from spiritual contamination. And because these signals guide you, you have learned to trust silence over explanations. When someone shows inconsistency, you don't chase. When someone shifts strangely, you don't question your perception. When someone drains your energy, you don't force connection. You have grown enough to know that peace is worth protecting, even if it means walking alone. In truth, you are never truly alone. When heaven sets you apart, you walk with angels, with divine covering, with a spiritual clarity that others may not recognize, but you certainly feel. This separation is also why your spirit feels so safe in your own space. Your home isn't just a building, it's your temple, your sanctuary, your spiritual shield. It carries your prayers, your tears, your breakthroughs. It holds the energy of your healing. When you walk through your own door, your spirit loosens its armor. The tension leaves your chest. The noise in your mind quiets. This is not psychological, it is spiritual alignment. Your home matches your frequency because you've built it with intention, peace, and truth. And the more you experience this alignment, the more you begin to understand a deeper truth: you cannot carry light and move through darkness without feeling its weight. You cannot walk as a spiritually awakened soul in an energetically chaotic world without needing recovery. You cannot read people's spirits without needing time to cleanse your own. This is why isolation becomes a sanctuary for the chosen one, not because you dislike people, but because your calling requires recalibration. Many people misunderstand this. They assume the chosen one avoids the world out of fear. But the truth is the opposite. You withdraw because you can sense the unseen. You pull back because you recognize spiritual imbalance. You stay home because your peace is sacred. What others view as a limitation is actually one of your greatest strengths. You don't stay away from the world because you're weak. You step away because your spirit is strong enough to know when it is being pulled out of alignment. Chosen one. Your separation is your preparation. Every quiet season has meaning. Every isolated moment is intentional. Every withdrawal is a realignment. Heaven is not hiding you, it is refining you. And soon the world will understand why you had to walk alone for a while. Chosen one. As you move even deeper into this awakening, something extraordinary begins to crystallize within you. The understanding that your home, your silence, your solitude, and your separation have never been random. They have been part of your spiritual architecture. Since the beginning, the more you awaken, the more you see that your spirit has always been preparing you for a different kind of journey. You were never meant to run with the masses or blend into the noise. Your path has always been narrow, sacred, intentional. And every time life pushed you inward, it was shaping you into someone who could hear what others ignore, sense what others overlook, and see what others deny. This realization does not happen suddenly. It unfolds quietly, like a curtain slowly being pulled back. One day you notice that the place where you feel most alive is not in crowded rooms, but in the stillness of your own space. Another day you realize that the most profound answers come not from conversations, but from the whispers in your heart. And slowly you begin to see that you were never retreating from life. Your spirit was leading you into alignment. Your home becomes more than walls and furniture. It becomes a sanctuary for your soul. The energy you allow inside it matters more now than it ever has. You've likely noticed that clutter feels heavier than before, that noise irritates you faster, that certain objects bring you comfort while others feel spiritually off. This is not you becoming picky or overly particular. This is spiritual alignment sharpening your awareness. When your spirit elevates, your space must elevate with it. You crave environments that feel clean, peaceful, intentional. You might find yourself rearranging your space without knowing why, throwing away things that no longer feel aligned, creating corners where your soul feels calm. These are sacred instincts. You are building a temple around your spirit, and in this temple, stillness becomes your daily communion. There are people who search for God in noise, but you chosen one, you find him in silence. The world doesn't understand this. They assume silence is emptiness. But for you, silence is presence. Silence is clarity. Silence is instruction. It is in silence that God reveals truths your mind was too crowded to see. It is in silence that your spirit shows you the answers you once begged for. It is in silence that your calling begins to unfold piece by piece, moment by moment, breath by breath. As this deepening continues, you also start to recognize why so many experiences in your life unfolded the way they did. The betrayals, the disappointments, the losses, the unexpected endings, they pushed you inward, but what felt like loss was actually sacred redirection. If certain people had stayed in your life, they would have polluted your spirit. If certain opportunities had worked out, they would have limited your growth. If certain paths had opened, they would have taken you away from yourself. What you thought was rejection was actually preservation. What you saw as abandonment was heaven clearing the way. And what felt like loneliness was actually divine protection surrounding your spirit like a shield. This is also why you may have struggled to feel understood. Your sensitivity, your depth, your intuition, your need for solitude. These things set you apart in a world that values constant socialization and performance. But the more you grow, the clearer it becomes that you do not need to be understood to walk in your purpose. Your spirit recognizes things long before your mind fully processes them. You feel shifts before they happen. You sense intentions before words are spoken. You see spiritual truth even when the physical world denies it. This level of awareness is rare, and with rarity often comes misunderstanding. But chosen souls are not defined by external validation, they are defined by internal revelation. And the deeper you go into this journey, the more you realize that being alone has never meant being empty. In fact, solitude has become the place where you feel most filled. Time alone reveals your real voice, your real desires, your real identity. When the world's noise fades, what remains is the truth of who you are and who you are becoming. You begin to meet parts of yourself you never noticed before: the healer, the intuitive, the discerner, the listener, the observer, the old soul. You begin to sense gifts within you that have been waiting patiently for this moment, gifts that require quiet to bloom. Chosen one. Everything you've been experiencing, every withdrawal, every sensitivity, every awakening, every instinct to protect your peace is shaping you for the next level of your calling. You are being positioned, you are being prepared. And the solitude that once felt like a mystery is now becoming the doorway to your transformation. Chosen one. May this awakening settle into your spirit like truth returning home. Walk forward with clarity, protection, and purpose. If this spoke to your soul, share your presence below and stay aligned with your calling.